Hi, everybody. Welcome to day 23 in the Crystal Advent Calendar. And today with me is Val from Dragonfly Crystals, who does a lot of Akashic Records work and different stuff. She'll explain all that when we get back to Val. But first, we got to get what is the stone today? What is the stone today? And it's the 23rd, so it's under this door. And as you know, I open them early because I had one poor show that watched them struggle to open it. And they're like, please open it early. And this one's a rough stone. It's not tumbled. It's smoky quartz, and that will amaze some of you because you're used to seeing the really dark smoky quartz. But the reason we have this is to show it can be any variety of colors. This smoky quartz has as much power as that smoky quartz as far as its properties, and the properties of we'll discuss the properties of smoky quartz and why the Earth Mother brought it to us to remind us. Earth Mother, we are thankful to our Mother, the Earth, that she gives us all we need for life. She supports our feet as we walk upon her. It gives us joy that she continues to care for us and as she has from the beginning of time. To our Mother, we send greetings and thanks. And we're thanking you for the stones and that. And what's smoky quartz kind of good for? You know? And
Hmm.
smoky quartz is known for dispensing fear and negativity and removing depression. It has been used to provide emotional balance, remove anxiety and stress, and at the same time, uh, help bring in positive thoughts. It generates just doesn't send stuff away, it brings stuff in. Because of the darker, more masculine color, it's often associated with the earth and nature. So, smoky quartz gemstones have been traditionally associated with alleviating pain and stress through reconnection to the earth and nature. And that's when we talk about going out and grounding. It's a stone for that. It can actually alleviate physical pain. When I had my knees done, I don't like to take my stones into hospitals because they're full of oogie energy. But she went in with me and she was on my windowsill. And the nurse kept saying, someone's going to steal that. And I said, oh, I hope they don't. They will pay if they do. Not to me. The stone will get them. These crystals are typically found among the margins of the pegmatite, and this stone's perfect for showing that. The quartz that forms most easily and is formed at its hottest form is the clear quartz, and this has got minerals in it, which is what makes it dark. So it kind of makes like a jello mold salad in the earth, and that's how you find them. Um, and smoky quartz is a color variety of that mineral. It's a silicate crystal with a classification of vitreous luster. In other words, it's shiny and it flows. It's like glass. It ranges from transparent to translucent depending on the stone you have. It has a hardness of 7. So if you're carrying stones around, you might want to wrap this one up so it's not bumping into your lighter stones because it can cut them. And its system is hexagonal, which is there. And it can be found in spheres, carvings, and faceted gemstones. And with that, we are going to go join Miss Val and see what the further adventure she has about stones.
My Smoky Quartz adventures. I actually got one from Mount Shasta, but that's not the story. I got on one of my 3 trips to India. I found a necklace. It just called out to me and jumped out, and I had to buy it. But it included a smoky quartz. It was like a circle
Mm-hmm.
with a smoky quartz at the base coming up.
Mm-hmm.
And I had that for years, and it's somewhere in this house, but I can't put my finger on it right now. It might be in a box somewhere. But the story is I was just walking through uh, a marketplace, and that just jumped out at me, and I had to have that. And it included other stones around
Mm-hmm.
the whole circle and in it. But I had that and wore that for years. Um, and I really believe it is true. We are attracted to what we need at the moment. And
Mm-hmm.
even if you don't know why, because even as a little girl, I was attracted to polished stones, agates, anything like that. I just
Mm-hmm.
loved it. I loved rocks, minerals, stones, everything. But I knew they had a purpose. I knew that they actually helped us in some way energetically. I knew this even when I was 7 years old. So luckily, so this smoky quartz necklace really was like an amulet for me.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize it at the time, but apparently I haven't had to use it because it's been put away for years. Um, but to say that smoky quartz to me has it's a sweet feeling of protection or a
Mm-hmm.
sweet feeling of, I don't know, it shifts the energies that would come into your field
Mm-hmm.
in a way in which you can function and adapt well to everything. It isn't like a block, like it's not like obsidian
Mm-hmm.
in that way. It's sweet. It's a sweet shifting. I don't even know how to describe it. That's
Yeah,
my,
this one says, I'm the wall.
this one says, you no.
I'm the
And
mm-hmm.
sweet smoky quartz is like, it's just full, to me, it's full of sweet
Mm-hmm.
energy that just
Well,
takes
it's like
care of everything.
smoke.
It takes care of it.
It's called smoky because it's like smoke. I think smoke can be very sweet, depending on what you're burning. But
Yes.
um, I have that big globe that's behind me is red jasper.
Oh, and I
And
love red jasper.
red, yeah, well, you're a redhead. Redheads like it. Matter of fact, the reader who pulled red jasper, that was her day, had it as a child, bright red hair.
Oh,
Um, but red jasper is a real protection stone. Red jasper is a
yes.
stone you give someone if you have a friend who's in a troubling relationship where they're
Oh,
actually physically threatened. Give them a piece of red jasper. They're caught in the kind of energy that can deal with red jasper energy. If you have a friend that you just, they're just having a great day and you just want to say, "Oh, you're having a great day." Don't hand them a red jasper because the energy of it when they hold it's going to be overwhelming.
wow. It is a pretty strong stone. I have some jasper hearts and
Mm-hmm.
they are potent. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
They really
And
are.
And
So, yeah.
smoky quartz is kind of the opposite of that. It's sneaky.
Yeah.
It's sneaky,
It's
soft, and helpful.
sneaky. You say sneaky, I say sweet, but it is kind of like that, you know. It's softly does what it needs to do, whatever that
Mhm.
is. So, yeah. Yeah, sneaky.
So, what is your day 23? What's your day 25 of this month going to be like? Do you know?
My day 25, what is it going to be like?
Yeah, what's your Christmas going to be like?
It is going to be with family traveling from afar. We're all going to meet in one central
Oh,
location.
okay.
And so it's going to be just that beautiful, cohesive
Mm-hmm.
energy of love gathering
Mm-hmm.
together. That's the day. Yeah.
Yeah, we planned this. I took a cruise once at Christmas, and I took my kids because
Mhm.
we'd had a series of Christmases that I won't go into, but we had people dying.
Oh, yeah.
And weird. My husband ended up in the ICU with a heart thing,
Oh.
so not all on the same Christmas, but it was just Christmas after Christmas. So finally, I looked at the kids. I said, "We're going on a cruise," and they were like, "We're not a cruising sort of family," and they looked at me like. And my youngest was about to finish high school, and my oldest was back in Dallas and was
Mhm.
available, and my middle daughter had just started a job, and she actually got them to hold the job till she came back, and she was gone over Christmas, which is hard.
Wow.
But so we went on this cruise, and I didn't realize how many families cruise at Christmas,
Oh, they a lot.
and that's why the cruises are more expensive at Christmas, which I also didn't know. But
Yeah.
anyway, but we figured if we got on that boat and we
Yeah.
made the whole cruise and we made it back and it didn't sink, then we were okay. Because
There you go. And not only that, but taking yourself out of the energy of
Hmm.
where you've been is a new perspective,
Oh
that
yeah.
new frequencies, new energies. It really does shift you and shifts your perspective so that when you get back, you're in a whole different
Yeah,
place.
and our Christmas
Yeah,
did shift. We a
yeah,
lot of things I carried from my childhood. I
yeah.
said, I don't need to make that Christmas pudding. I don't need to make, I mean, and I didn't have the desire to make them anymore. And so we just our Christmas
Yeah.
uh basically is they're lucky if they get a gift and I staple the bag together and throw it under the tree. And then the tree disappears.
That's kind of how we do it, Nancy Jean.
Yeah, so
We don't exchange gifts
mhm,
actually. And that kind of side of Christmas has been long gone because
mhm,
my grandkids are all grown up, they're in college, and my adult kids don't need it.
mhm. Well, see, we don't. My grandchildren are still young enough. They're in. One's about to go into junior high,
Oh,
and he's got that air about him.
yeah.
And his sister's 2 years younger, but they. My gift to my granddaughter this year is she learned how to crochet, and I
Oh,
used to knit a lot, and I had a huge stash of yarn that I've become aware that if I knitted from now till I'm 100, I would never finish it all. So I bagged it up and gave it to her at Thanksgiving and said, "Here's some yarn." And she has two young women friends who have also learned how to crochet. So they have a crochet club on Zoom.
oh, that's so much fun. And I tried to learn from my grandmother who crocheted unbelievably gorgeous things like Afghans for our
Mhm.
couch and just really intricate and beautiful designs. And I'd watch her and she'd say, "Oh, just do this."
Yeah,
I'm
I
like,
know.
"What? Show it, do it slow." I still couldn't get it because
I
I didn't know what she was picking up to, with
yeah,
that hook. And it just
and
so I can knit,
I
not
can knit. I can knit all day long. I cannot crochet. My sisters can
yeah.
crochet
The
up the world.
crocheting is a big,
Well, they learned
mystery.
they learned to crochet at church. They went to a summer school, a week off
Yeah,
where we learned. And all
yeah,
three of them learned. And one of the girls is really hyperactive. I mean,
oh,
she's on the
yeah,
spectrum. She's has special
yeah,
classes, trying to teach her how to keep it down because her dad doesn't want to medicate her. And he's a teacher. He said, I don't want her medicated.
yeah.
And he, when we were having Thanksgiving at their house, and the little girls went, I mean, it was literally a yard bag of yarn.
Mm.
They took it and they came out, can we get some more bags? Because they want to split it up between the three of them. And he said, it took me 8 years to find out how to calm Susie down. Had I known, he said, I would have bought out Michael's by now. And I said, that's what people used to do, instead of playing fiddly little games, they paid.
It is a really great thing to do with your hands. It gives you something busy to do. But
Mhm.
I got like a string of crochet going, and then I didn't know how to make
To loop it back and make the thing.
didn't know how to loop it back. I was like, uh, and that
Well, I
was
learned.
only like 8 months ago. I got the
Mhm.
crochet hook back out, the yarn, and oh no.
Oh, there's so many YouTubes, man. I tell you, people say,
I
I
was
just,
on YouTube trying to do what they were
oh
saying.
dear,
Yeah,
then give it up. Um,
give it up.
I knit lace. And
Yeah.
so
Oh,
when I
that's
was knitting my
wow.
really, really pretty big round lace
Wow, that's
shawls
hard.
and stuff, and I'd learn how to do those and on on YouTube. But there was no YouTube at the time. That was back in old school. This was in the 70s when it was
It
all
isn't the hardest thing about lace, Nancy Jean, that you don't want to. I mean, that's so thin and delicate. I'd be like, part of it'd be too tight, part of it'd be too
well,
loose.
I used to knit in a kind of mohair, so my
Oh,
threads were a little bit longer.
oh,
But yeah,
okay.
when you're at the beginning and you're trying to make that
Yes,
first little circle start,
yes, yeah.
and then, but the biggest problem with lace, and everybody's bored to tears. We're talking about crystals.
Well,
The
it
biggest
is.
problem with
It's like
lace
the
is not
fractal of a
reversing it,
crystal.
remembering which
Yeah,
is the right side.
yeah, yes.
That's
That
the
would
part.
be, Yes.
I had a kind of way I would mark it, so I knew.
Yes,
And
you
then
would
as you're
have
going
to.
around in circles, am I still in the
Yeah.
same circle? Or am I going to another pattern? If
Oh
it's all the
God.
pattern, they look like spider webs when they were done, but they
But
were gorgeous.
and we're talking about patterns in lace and things like that. It is like the fractals and things that are
Mhm.
in crystals, the inclusions, the things. So everything has that Fibonacci sequence, the
Yes.
spiral, the
Mhm.
pattern. So it is like we could boil it down to sacred geometry, actually.
Yes, and I've
So,
got some people who want me to teach a class in that, and that may show up
ooh,
in January. Um, so
yay.
anyway, so what do you do when you're not talking to me about knitting and crocheting, which is nothing to
That I don't do anyway. What am I do? I teach classes, Akashic records, channeling, psychic mediumship, meditation classes, manifesting in the quantum field.
do.
Uh, those kind of classes. Plus, I do readings, Akashic record readings, intuitive readings, um, and on my YouTube channels, one is Next Level Channeling, where um, I add my channeling. And the
Mm-hmm.
channeling, I've only done a little bit live because
Mm-hmm.
it's easier for me in meditation. I get channeled information. I'm writing it down
Mm-hmm.
furiously as I'm receiving it, and then I just read it.
Mm-hmm.
It's easier that way on a Next Level Channeling. And it's funny, they came out the other day. It's not a political channel. I don't say political things, but my guides were saying that that Trump they never said the name. They never said the name. They said the elected person knows their time is short and they won't be able to grab the ring of power. That doesn't say they won't be in office. It doesn't say they will,
Means
but
they won't have the ability to move the government.
yes, correct. And they said a little more. You'll have to go there to
Good.
listen to
Go
the
watch your
channel.
show. I do
That's
politics on every Sunday morning. I do it with Scott
with
Callan.
Scott. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you please, if you're at all interested, go like and subscribe to my channel. It just, when they talk about trimming the tree in December,
Yeah.
what YouTube does is it trims away a lot of your subscribers, and they
It
literally
it
will cut
does.
out subscribers that are supposed to be there,
Yeah.
that were there all year. I went through this
Yeah.
last year, and people are saying, I'm not getting your notices about the
Yes.
Advent. And I said, trust me, I'm methodical, if nothing else, about setting these up.
Yeah.
So I do that. I teach classes, and I'm in the process of putting a tarot class together. We have no more. Jeffrey Free from Ripe Color and I do it
Yeah.
together, and we teach 10 people at a time. It's a 6 week class. We start with numerology, and by the time you're at the end of the 6 week,
Mhm.
you can read. And I actually have two groups that I went through that they went through all that, and they formed their own reading groups. So they meet in
Oh,
Zoom like my little granddaughter does with her crocheting, and they can practice, because that's a big part of practicing. In January, okay, I have 6 of these left. If you've never watched my
wow.
channel, my Oracle Garden that's
The
on this little
Oracle
star,
Garden.
there's only 6 of them left. I built them over 2 years ago when I thought I had grandeurs of power, and I thought this was it's gonna work. It works beautifully. I don't have the wherewithal or the physical stamina or anything to deal with manufacturing it anymore. I don't have my person to put it together. I quite honestly, I don't want to go, because you're gonna have to buy the scarves in packs of 100, and they're not
Oh,
they're silk, and so they're not
yeah.
cheap. So
Yeah.
when these are gone, unless somebody who has one of these, who runs a Etsy channel, who's trying to find an investor, finds an investor, they're gone. And then in January, I'm going to teach a course where I've taken all the materials I've gathered over the last 2 years. I'm in the process of running them through the mill and fixing up making sure that they make sense. And I will teach a class for 6 weeks for people who own the garden. You have to own a garden to take the class. And the garden is the next level
Hmm.
divination tool if you're dealing with it in front of your divination tool.
Mm.
You can't get a yes or no question from it. It also will not answer political questions. Frustrated the crap out of Sheila. She and I did a show together, and she kept saying, "Oh, we have to be able to throw something on it." I said, "Okay, go throw it and see what happens." Every time she or I threw it, the stone that's called the mind would
Yeah.
roll off the board. There's no mind in that. I mean, why are you even putting any intellectual energy into that stuff?
Yeah.
So I'm telling you, the gardens are almost gone. You can go to my website, www.crystaldirections. We're going to be teaching tarot uh, in December and January. I do 12-month readings for people. And I have people coming back because they said, last year when you said my summer was going to be incredibly busy, and I told you I've never had a busy summer in my life. Well, guess what? Oops. So so we're doing those, and all that's available on my website.
Right.
You can find it. And also my
Yeah.
crystal grids, which this one's here.
Yeah, and I have to, after this, I'm going to get your information. So I want my crystal grid.
This is a crystal grid for the world, and I built it 2 years ago at the
Wow,
suggestion of Tim Walter,
wow.
who's a house healer in England,
Yeah.
and it's got the crystals on it. On the back,
Wow.
it's got a description of what they mean, what their energy
Oh.
is, and then you put your intentions behind this. You to fire it up, and when you fire it up, literally, when you put your hand over the stones, they'll feel
Yeah.
warm because they're working.
I want
And
mine, and I'm gonna have to get mine from Nancy G.
I'll send you the link.
I need to
I'm
have
not
it
shy
for
about that.
2025 and on.
Well, no, and when I announced my um 2025 12-month readings, I thought nobody's going to really want these, and that's pretty much true. The people who've come to get them are people who are coming back because they're like, you were so right.
Mhm.
It worked out. Um, and what it is there's a card for each month, and then there's a modifier for each month, and it gives you warnings, kind of warnings, or hey, yay, rah. One woman was working on a project, and I did hers, and she didn't tell me about the project till I finished the reading. She said, "Oh my God, I've just made a connection in my world. That's someone that I'm going to be doing a show with." And
Mhm.
all the timing worked out. By June, she's going to have the contract she's always wanted. She's going to have the connections. But
Mm.
she's been working on this for a long time. And I had no, I mean, trust me, how would I know? I don't spy. I don't have a little thing that comes up in your living room and I listen to what's going on.
You don't have drones?
I don't have No, they took all my drones and I don't know what they're doing with them.
Snap.
Damn. Well, anyway, enough about drones and weird things. Anything, I want to wish everyone the merriest of
Yeah.
Christmases. And I want to thank Val for making it over and us having a long, wandering conversation.
Hey, it was all good. It's, you follow the
Right.
breadcrumbs and it leads you to, all these
To the
things.
end. And whatever we said, someone needed to hear today. And I'll tell you,
Absolutely.
the conversation we just had after we kind of finished about the stone, that's what it's like when readers say, "Oh, remember what we were talking about before?" That's what our conversations like. They're all over the place.
Yep, it's true.
Well, everyone, and thank you, Val, for joining
Oh,
me. And I
my
want you to know
pleasure.
I've never met Val before. I've spoken to people about her, and we we just keep missing each other. But we will do shows together because
Yeah,
we
absolutely.
got a lot of combined information. And
Yeah.
y'all have a lovely day, and thank you for being with us. Bye bye.